any other bachelor's degree. And there is one another route, which is a direct entry route, which you can consider after your graduation or post graduation, be in commerce or any other course like science, etc. So we'll discuss first on the foundation route. So if you have completed your class 10th examination, you can directly register for the CA course. But you can appear for the exam, you will be qualified to appear for the foundation exam once you complete your 12th exams. So let us say you have appeared for your 12th. Now you can appear for the CA foundation exam and you can clear it. So this is the first stage. It is also considered as an entrance exam. So let us say in science, etc., we have different exams as an entrance exam. So in CA, this foundation course is considered as an entrance exam. So once you qualify your foundation course, you need to then register for intermediate course, which is known as IPCC. You all must be aware on that. So this registration of intermediate course has to be done once you clear your 12th as well as your foundation course. So if you are coming through a direct entry, so let us say you have considered some other option like CWA or CS. So in that case, if you have completed your intermediate CWA or company secretary course, in that case you can directly register for IPCC. No need to give foundation exam. And if you are commerce graduate or postgraduate with 55%, or you are graduate in science or arts or any other degree with 60% or more, in that case, you can directly join your internship. And then after internship of 9 months, you can appear for this IPCC examination. So once you are done with your, the Institute of Chartered Accountants has given a cap that if you want to appear in IPCC after CPD, then compulsorily you need to take 9 months training. So the gap between foundation exam and IPCC exam should be minimum 9 months. So you need to go for 9 months self study or any classes or etc. Then you have to appear for the examination. Once you are done with group 1 of IPCC or both the group of IPCC, you can register for your internship, or you can consider it as a practical training. So you have to register for that practical training, which is for 3 years. So after completing 2.5 years of this practical training, you can appear for your CA final examination. And once you are passed in CA final examination and you have completed 3 years of internship or practical training, you can ask for a membership number, and then you will be considered as a member of Chartered Accountancy course. So this is a very brief on the CA course, which you all must be aware, because the student who have already decided that they want to appear or go for CA course, they would have, you know, taken care of the number of exams they will be appearing and doing. So any question in the course related thing, because I think this is very basic and I don't want to go much in detail for this. And this is a very generic understanding, but if any student have a specific question on registration or appearing in exam part, then I'll take more in detail analysis in this. Otherwise we can jump onto our main topic, which is on opportunities that we have. I guess somebody have raised hands.
Yeah. So Meet, you can ask your question. Meet, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Your voice didn't come.
Meet, do you have a question? All right, it's okay. I guess we can. So, Amrin ma'am, we can sort of look at the questions in the Q&A section, and then we can go
Okay,
on
no problem.
later.
And I guess this we have, this is a very basic detail, but still, if we'll have any questions, we'll consider it. So, while I discuss the chartered accountancy course, I would like to highlight the beneficial part or the thing which is not there in other courses. So let us say if you are pursuing MBA, or if you are a science student going for any medical studies or anything. In that case, what happens is you need to select a college or an institute wherein you want to study, and it depends on your marks which you have got in entrance exams or 12th exams. But here, the beauty of CA courses, it is led by a single institute around India. So let us say you have 55% in 12th standard or 90% in 12th standard. There'll be only one institute who will be conducting your exam and giving you an opportunity to appear. So, like, even if you're sitting in Kerala, or let us say any of the part of India, you are in Gujarat, in Hyderabad, in Delhi, anywhere in India, the degree has equal importance all over India. So that's a very beautiful thing which is there in our course. So I'll take you through the traditional CA practice. So so I'll give you my example. What happens is when we go to our parents, that I appeared, when I joined the CA course before 12 years, I told my parents that I want to do a CA course. So this picture comes in their mind that uh, it's like it's a job like Mehtaji, where you do accounting, where you do auditing, where you check all the vouchers and papers and everything, which is so they don't even know that what exactly CA does in practical life. And to be very honest with you, many of the students are also not aware while joining the CA course that which opportunity they have. So first we'll discuss on the traditional CA practice, what CAs were doing originally, and the degree, what this degree allow us to do. So there are two options. Once you are done with your chartered accountancy course, you have two options. Either you go with a job, or you start your own CA practice. So if you are doing, so traditionally what was happening is if you are done with your CA, you will get job in multinational companies or local companies wherein you do compliance. Compliance will include like your income tax returns, TDS returns. So earlier it was service tax, now it is GST. So you consider the GST return, etc. Right? Then you take jobs in banks. So what happens is you are being appointed as a credit manager, the person who will be granting loans, person who is manager of the bank. So those were the earlier practice wherein the CAs were appointed. The third one was accountant or a finance manager, wherein you will be looking into the balance sheets and P&L of the company. So this is the very traditional practice. Still, companies hire chartered accountants for these type of services, but now CAs don't, they don't uh, willingly they don't join such type of jobs because they have many more opportunities. If you consider the practice areas, so we have seen the general practices of chartered accountancy, wherein you go with your bank account statements, your P&L and balance sheets. They'll file your income tax returns. You want to start a private limited company or a partnership firm, they'll do your drafting. They'll come for audit, be it be internal audit or bank audit. So these are very traditional practice wherein the CAs were involved. Now the time has changed. So what has changed? We'll see what CAs are doing in current time. What are the current opportunities for chartered accountants? So the earlier slide which we saw, the traditional practice, so CS still do that type of job. But what has happened is the way of doing these type of job has changed. So let us say audit is there, but you go the CAs or the students or the practitioners go more in detail in audit as well. So there are now different areas and specialization in every practice. So that is our first point, that what was happening, if you have a business, you go to a chartered accountant, he'll write your account, he'll file your income tax return, he'll fight for you in income tax tribunals, he'll fight for you for GSTs, customs, everything. But now organizations don't want that. What they want is they want individual practitioner or individual consultant for their different type of works. So let us say if there is a good company or a multinational company, they'll look for an accountant who is specialized in accounting, who has done trainings in IFRS, who is aware on GAAP, US GAAP. So they are looking for more in specialization instead of general thing. Because what happens is, as we all are aware, in CA we study and we learn around 17 subjects, right? So you can't specialize in all subjects. So you have to decide and you have to pick up one subject wherein you want to do specialization. And business is also looking for that work, right? And what are the other areas? So let us say you consider startups. So there are consultants who are categorically working with the startups, because it is an area wherein the person sitting beside you is not aware anything of compliance, anything on business, anything on you can consider taxation. So people are choosing such type of specialization, that if I want to work with startups, I'll specialize in all the areas which is required for a startup to start a business. Then there are services like valuation services. So we nowadays it's very common to hear that Mukesh Ambani bought this company or that company, or government sold this much percentage of share to private company. uh, Adani's took over the airport, Ahmedabad airport, in a public-private relationship. So these are the bigger news, but such type of small news are also there in market, wherein the companies do interchange their business, and for that they need services of valuation. So if I want to acquire a company, or if I want to take over the shares of that company, I need to know valuation of that company. So valuation services are also very much needed in the market, and we have many chartered accountancy firm specialized in valuation and doing these services for the um, companies around India. Then we come to forensic and investigation. So now the news of, we all are hearing in GST that this person did 100 crores fraud in GST, that company did this much crores fraud in GST. This person is like, we all know the big frauds. So now what happens is the shareholders of the company and management of the company both are different, and the need of forensic is increasing day by day. Because let us say if I am a shareholder, I must know that what's happening in my company. Is anybody doing fraud? Is anybody is stealing some money from my company? So all these things are covered in forensic, uh, wherein we find out the frauds which have been done. Then we come to virtual CFO service. Nowadays, what happens is the CFO is a person who handles in and out of finance of the company. Okay, so if you consider the small companies, I have been CFO for many small companies wherein the turnover is of 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs. So they can't hire a chartered accountant as a CFO, but yes, they can take virtual CFO services from the chartered accountants, wherein the CA get in touch with them on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. They discuss on their businesses, they discuss on their compliances. So this services is also available in current time. So this is nothing new. Okay, so the things we are discussing: valuation, forensic, fraud detection, virtual CFO, specialization, IFRS, GAAP, these all are there in the market on the current date. And now our focus should be what will be there in future. Okay, because it will be something new than what is today, right? I'll also discuss on due diligence. What happens is we discussed on the takeovers. Acha, other than takeover, what happens is companies have their fraud detection and forensic auditors, they have their internal auditors. But still, if a mid-sized company wants, they take due diligence services on 3 years or 5 years basis. So let us say GST came in 2017, or GST is quite new. So I'm giving example because we all are reading about GST newspapers nowadays. So it's very easy to correlate for everyone. So it came in 2017 and the laws were not that clear to anybody, right? So what happened is people were not aware whether to take this credit or not, or etc. Any of the technical points. So here the CAs are providing due diligence services after 3 years of completion of GST, whether you have done everything correct in GST or not. So due diligence is equivalent to internal audit, but what happens is in due diligence, we are working intentionally to find whether the things are going right or wrong, which is not there in internal audit. So the name is slight different with different opportunities, hidden opportunities, which is there. So we spoke about the current work opportunities, which many of you must not have heard, and these will be the base for emerging professional opportunities for you all in the coming future. Okay, so the first question comes is like everything needs change. Okay, so why a professional service or professional education or professional business needs change? Why it is needed? So I have highlighted certain points because now, see, the as the businesses are growing older, let us say if I am a consumer, I'll seek something new every day from my supplier. So the same thing happens between a consultant and a businessman, because businessman's need will also change day by day. So it's very important that we emphasize, or we look into that what exactly that businessman needs, and we provide that type of services. Also, the doing business. So what was happening earlier was the person who is doing business, he own will maintain his accounts, he'll check his passbooks on a daily basis, he'll write his checks, everything will be done by the businessman on his own. But that's not the scenario as of now. What happens is doing business has become more cumbersome. The compliances has been increased. So you consider the compliances every month, a business needs minimum 20 to 25 compliances to be done. So we can't expect a businessman to do. And now he wants somebody to do that on behalf of him so that he can do more focus on the business. Also, what has happened is earlier we were not aware on many type of businesses. So we all know that every 10 years there is change in the emerging market. So let us say earlier it was industrialism, wherein there were many industries. Now it is like IT based. So we have companies in IT who are leading the industry. So as the businesses are changing their market, the same way they need professionals to change their thinking and consider it for their businesses. Globalization has increased. Nowadays, if you are an Indian chartered accountant, you have multiple opportunities around the world. It's not that you have done a CA in India and you have to do practice or job in India. It's not like that. Businesses are going globalized, and that's where we will be able to take this opportunity to take our services and the practices around the world. Earlier, the CA results were coming to 1% or 2%. The students appearing in the CA exams were quite low. And nowadays, competitiveness has increased like anything. The number of students appearing in the exam and passing the exams it's like when I cleared, it was 1,50,000 students, sorry, CA members. Now, after 5 years or it's more than 7 years. It's like 2 lakh CAs around India. So we are in the world wherein we have high competition around our professional, and that's where if you are jumping into some another shoes wherein you can give something best to the industry, yes, you will be able to make it out. So, which are the emerging opportunities which I think? So, these are certain examples on the basis of studies which we generally do. You know that what where the market is going, what are the need of clients, so what are the need of students, so what the students think about the course, uh, the different ideas which we get through the other CAs, etc. So these are my views. So we don't know whether this will be these services will be there in next 3 years, but what will be there after 3 years, nobody knows. But yes, we can consider these as emerging professional opportunities for all of you, which will be there for next 5 years, 5 to 7 years, or maybe 10 years. So you can consider specialization as we discussed. There are many compliances in each law, in each industry. So currently also we are seeing that there is a chartered accountant who is working whole and soul for a construction company. Okay, so that is a specialization because he now knows in and out of construction industry, and he or she can complete all the compliances for construction industry. So if let us say I am a big company like Godrej or Arvind, then I'll definitely prefer that consultant over a general consultant. So specialization in any specific tax area or any corporate area. So that is more preferred. So we also see that trusts are increasing day by day. You consider Tata Trust or our AKDN Trust. So even if we are going in the market to search for a chartered accountant for our AKDN Trust, we'll look into that whether we are taking services from a specialized chartered accountant or not. Right. So specialization will be all in color for coming few years because you go in depth in the subject, so nobody can beat you in that services. International funding and foreign direct investment, so you must have heard the budgets which the finance minister is giving every year. So this year also on 1st February they'll come up with a new budget. So India is now allowing foreign companies to fund in India through international funding of, or we call it as FDI, foreign direct investments. So there are certain laws and rules wherein foreign company has to decide how much percentage that company can fund into India and what are the compliance for the Indian company to be followed by. So there are certain chartered accountants who specialize in these services, and these services are called as an international services because here you are dealing in with foreign clients as well as Indian clients for this foreign direct investments, inbound and outbound investments. So we read about we discussed about FDI wherein the foreign companies are coming in India and investing in Indian companies. In the same way, Indian companies are also allowed to send their money to invest in some other companies abroad in the form of investment. So let us say if you are sitting in India and if you have money, you want to invest in Dubai. So now you are allowed to do that, but you have to follow certain procedures. So we have certain specialized consultants, or you can specialize in that area, whereby you can consult your clients on the inbound and outbound investments, cross-border mergers and acquisition. This is a very cream area, which is also there in current market, current scenario. But I'll give you a recent example. One of my clients received a call through a common consultant whereby they said that this XYZ company in Europe is interested in buying you. Right. So now, as we go more into the globalization, if the businesses of the companies are going globalized, they are seen by other companies in the world. And if they want to acquire their company, or if an Indian company want to acquire a company abroad, the mergers and acquisition has to be done as per the laws. And we current news is in the current news as well. Before 3 or 5 days, there was a news that comparing to 2017 and 2020, there was increase in mergers and acquisition by 25%. So as the companies grow, they also think that rather than running companies single-handedly, they can merge two companies and go ahead with a high volume company. So these services will increase day by day as the government is being liberal in allowing cross-border mergers and acquisition. Credit ratings and business rating. So earlier what was happening is, earlier it was happening like CAs were helping companies to get the loan. But now the scenario is different. Now the banks are going to company and telling them we will give you loan. You need not go to any consultant or you need not hire any consultant to get a loan. So now that area of practice is entirely blocked. CAs are not, it's not blocked, but it's not worthy because banks are calling customers directly to take personal loans, education loan. In the same way, they are calling businesses to take business loans. So now, where we can expertise in the same system. So these loans are based on the credit ratings. We know it as CIBIL score. Okay, so we can, as a chartered accountant, you can specialize in credit rating services whereby even if the client is going directly to the bank, they'll need somebody like you who will identify their credit ratings. And on that basis, the banks will be granting the loan. Then we have contractual litigations. So as we discussed in the earlier points that businesses are going worldwide and we have these mergers and acquisitions, we have funding transactions. So for all these transactions, the organizations undertake contracts between them, right? So if there is a contract, if there is an agreement, there has to be litigations in future. Contracts are made to fight against the litigations. So this is also a very keen area wherein you are not fighting in India, but you're fighting across globe for your client in India or abroad, right? So contractual litigation services are also booming in the current market. In the same way, tax litigations. So tax litigations will be there. Nobody can beat that because every year we see many changes in the taxes. So this service was there earlier. It is currently also CAs are practicing in this area. Tax litigations will also be there in the future area. What will change in tax litigations? So many of you must be aware that now tax litigations are handled faceless, right? Wherein you need not go to the department, but what you are writing to the department over an email or a common platform, the officer will read it and on that basis he'll give you a positive or negative order. So your drafting skills are very important in the current tax litigations because earlier you were allowed to go and sit against the officer and fight with him. Now that will not be the scenario in the future cases. So your drafting skills will decide whether you will be able to do this or not. Then comes to valuation. So if you look into these services, these all services are interrelated. So you can say that you know valuation services will be leading in the future and mergers and acquisition will not. No. So these all services are interlinked on the basis of current business scenarios and emerging business scenarios. So valuations are linked with mergers and acquisition, investment. Somebody is coming to you and is telling you that my company's value is 1 crore rupee. You pay me 1 crore rupee and I'll transfer you my company. Will you have trust on that person, or any businessman will have trust on that person? No. So here the valuation is important, considering the transfers, the inbound or outbound investments, or mergers or acquisitions or funding, etc. In every scenario, valuation services are equally important. Forensic, again, I said, as and when the companies from abroad and India are getting together to do business, need of forensic and investigation will be much important because you assume that there's somebody sitting in Europe or US and is making investment in India. How will that person have trust on that Indian person doing business on his behalf? Right? So these type of services are will increase day by day in the coming future. Investment banking, you must all have heard about this, and this is a very good and very niche practice wherein the CAs are involving nowadays. So you must have heard name of uh, Many investment bankers and our Smileys as well, the CA students and the CAs in practice are also involving themselves for this investment banking services. Again, this is linked with the mergers and acquisition valuations and fundings, right? Then comes to business designs. So this business designing thing comes from startups. So let us say I'm coming with an idea, but I don't know how to run this thing as a business. So currently also the services are there, but not known to many of the chartered accountants. And there are certain practices who are leading in this thing because, as we all are aware, the youngsters are coming with ideas, and now our responsibility comes to identify a proper business design wherein a business can run. And let me tell you one thing, even I work for startups. What happens is if a young student or a young businessman comes with an idea, he will not go with much experienced chartered accountant. If he is of the age between 25 to 30, he'll always look for a consultant or a business designer or a chartered accountant who is between 25 to 30 because he will think that this is the person who can correlate to my ideas. So, as and when you will become a chartered accountant, you will grow up, you will have more startups in the market, and you will be able to pick this opportunity because the interaction with the youngsters goes much easier than the experienced personnel. Okay, this is the same thing which we consider in handholding for startups. Virtual CFO, as we discussed earlier, that will be in demand and in need for future. So here, virtual CFO or shared CFO, it's I'm not talking about only Indian companies. The companies abroad also looking for CFOs. They consider Indian chartered accountants as the best service providers because we have that name in international market. Policy or contract drafting, as we discussed that in future, as and when the business will grow, as and when the investments will come and go, will have contractual litigation. So to avoid those contractual litigation or to win any contractual litigation in future, there has to be a proper drafting of contracts. Okay, and this is also a very niche area because if the agreement or a contract is drafted properly, that person will be able to win his or her case in the international market. Intellectual property right again linked with the mergers and acquisition, corporate governance and CSR. As you all are aware that government has mandated corporates to spend certain amount of fund in the CSR activities, right? So the laws are very critical, and the companies always think that how we can spend the money and consider it as CSR, and we can gain our name, and we save certain amount of money, or we do for our own trust, etc. So these are the services wherein the companies can save their money and can follow the law as well. So this services is also considered as an emerging opportunity for all of us. What are the other areas wherein CAs are considered, or as a chartered accountant you can pick up, not as a career option, but yes, it will be open. It will be considered as an opportunity for you in the coming years. So, departmental opportunities. As we all are aware that if you want to get hired in uh, customs department or GST department or income tax department, you should have GPSC, UPSC, or any such exams. You must have that IRS, etc., against your name. But nowadays, what has happened is even the departmental authorities are aware that chartered accountancy exam is equivalently competence, and that's why they are allowing CAs to sit in the department and take those government jobs. So these jobs are also open for chartered accountants after giving a very basic and nominal exam, and you can directly get appointed as an assistant commissioner or a deputy commissioner considering your work experience, etc. So earlier, what was happening is nobody was thinking of a government job after doing chartered accountancy, and that was not allowed as well. But nowadays, that has been opened. We can see many CAs in Gujarat who are taking these government jobs and getting appointed as assistant commissioner, and very young chartered accountants of the age of 23, 24. So if you are going into departmental authorities at the age of 23, 24, By the time you reach 40, 45, you will be, you can be considered as a commissioner or principal commissioner in departments, which is a very good post. You can consider this as an alternate option. Insurance sector, as we all are aware, that yes, that is also an open option. Internal audit and due diligence. So this also we discussed, but what happens is many a times the government hires internal auditors and due diligence services in their internal works. So let us say even if the excise department is working or any insurance company that a government agency have, they consider CAs to handle its internal audits and due diligences to check whether the government officers are working properly or not. You can also work as a faculty, as a professor or teacher in any CA classes. You can also consider to be professor in any government colleges, government institutions. I have also seen CAs who teach students in IIM. Okay, so this opportunity always stays open for you after completing your CA. Nominee director for foreign companies. So what happens is, as we discussed, that foreign companies are coming in India with their funds. But what happens is there is a condition in Indian law that if a foreign company want to do business in India, they should have a nominee director or an Indian director. So what happens is rather than appointing a nobody who don't know the business or compliance anything, the foreign companies look for chartered accountants who can work as their nominee directors in India on their behalf so that the work gets more easier. Independent directorship. Yes, this is also a very good opportunity. So here what happens is independent director is an alternate working area. So let us say if I am doing my practice or my job as of now, but I still have an option to get appointed as an independent director. Okay, it can be in any company. So, in Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA has given certain guidelines that if your company is more than 5 crore or etc., in that case, you should have independent directors in your company. Here, the good news for girl or lady chartered accountant is there are many government companies wherein there are conditions that they should have at least one independent female director. Okay, so these are certain opportunities which are open. I'm not going much in detail because I guess otherwise I need more time. I'll directly jump onto the skills which you will need. Okay. Why, if you're looking for this additional opportunity or emerging opportunities, what are the skills or competences you will be needed? So if you'll see that if you're doing a job or something and you are following your senior, you'll not be able to lead it, right? So you have to understand that what stakeholders or what the business exactly needs, what value addition you can give to them, whether you are able to work in the current IT system or not, what are the current competitiveness the the industry is, is looking for. You should develop a niche working area. So let us say you know everything. So every chartered accountant will be knowing tax, income tax. They'll be knowing corporate affairs. They'll be knowing indirect taxation. That's okay. You should know everything, but you have to create a niche business practice or something in which you can get specialized. You should have a proactive approach. So let us say uh, before going into the market with a new idea or anything, you should know the problem. What is the current problem of the business, and you can work on that problem. So you should have proactive approach. And the must thing is the IT based knowledge. So as you all are aware that considering this COVID pandemic, we are not able to conduct audits if you are not that equipped with laptops and cloud working space, etc. You will not be able to work. So many senior CAs or many old practices who have many clients, but they could not survive in this pandemic because they were not, technically that sound. So this is very important. As in, when you complete your CA or anything, you should be equipped with ongoing IT based networks, SAPs. You should be able to design or read the softwares which are developed for us. What can be considered as a roadmap for all of you? Uh, so while it's very, I understand it's very difficult while you are studying your chartered accountancy to choose any specific work area. But what happens is this 3 years practical training is given to us compulsorily so that we can understand that what business needs, and at the same time you can understand that what is your what is your interest area. So let us say while I was doing internship, I did work in many areas, and then I picked up one which was customs and GST and service tax, indirect taxation or foreign trade policies. Right. So while you are doing your internship or while you are studying, pick up an area wherein you want to specialize. Also, if you are getting any opportunity in that area, you should have a quick turnaround. So let us say if you have got an opportunity today and you are not sure that whether you will be able to work in that area or not, that should not be the case, because you may or may not get that opportunity again, right? So if you have done your practical training or internship in a proper area, you should have that quick turnaround for the opportunities that you are going. Adapting a changing world. Here, I would like to highlight that we always see the Western world while we compare, our courses or our services. We always try to see that what Canada is doing, what US is doing. As a chartered accountant, whether I'll be able to work over there or not. So what I'll tell to all of you is, don't go on westernization. If you are working or considering modernization in your work and your study, you'll automatically get westernized. Okay, so focus more on modernization, what the need of industry, be it be in India, be it be in abroad. If you are aware on that, if you are modernized, you'll be able, you will be automatically go in the global market and create value to the stakeholders. And last but not the least is continuous education. So a chartered accountancy is the course wherein you have to study every day. Okay, so what can be considered as a continuous education? So there are three legs. One, there are certification courses offered by CA Institute (ICI). There are post qualification courses which is also given by ICI, and then we have separate degrees or courses. So these courses offered by CA Institute must be aware by you. So I'll directly go on to the courses which you can consider along with your CA course or after completing your CA course. Investment banking, as I discussed, this is an emerging career. You can consider to appear for investment banking exams, or you can go to a school like Wall Street School to study in detail with investment banking. You can also consider a course of CFA, which is Chartered Financial Analysis, wherein you do equity research, valuations, portfolio management, share trading, etc. So this can also be an option if somebody is interested in equity research or valuation type of services. Then there's a law. If anybody is interested in contractual drafting, in international contractual litigation. So I'll give you my example. While I joined KPMG, I was not aware on this LLB course. So I was not sure whether I should do this or not. But when I entered, I came to know that I was more interested in litigations. I was more interested in drafting international contracts for my clients. And that's where I pursued my LLB, so that if I want to appear in any litigation abroad or in India, at that time I should not think that now let's go for an LLB, I'll clear in 3 years and then I'll appear for a court case. So you should be a proactive that now I'm interested, I should appear in this course right away. Then financial risk management. This can also be done wherein if you are more interested in forensics or fraud or due diligence services or fraud identification services. As I discussed that CSR and corporate law services are more coming up in the coming future. For that, you can also pick up a CS course. Then there's a CPA. So for CPA, students have many questions. CPA is known, so let me tell you that as we call our chartered accountants as CA, many of the countries consider that their certified public accountants as CPA. So there are different names. Let us say US CPA, Australian CPA, Pakistan CPA. Okay, so this depends on the country wherein you want to go. So let us say if you want to go in US and you want to start your own practice, or you want to do some work in US, you will be allowed to do that. But for that you have to appear for CPA exams. So here there is a cut. Indian Institute has association and joint ventures with many CPAs, wherein if you are going, let us say in Europe, you need not appear for entire CPA course. It will be for 3 to 4 years. You just have to pass few exams, which have been decided mutually by Indian and European CA institutes. So you have to appear for those certain exams only to get that CPA degree. Okay, so this CPA is more important for the students who want to go abroad and do job or start their own practice. Okay, so I think this was my last slide wherein I wanted to highlight on the uh, courses which you can appear along with the chartered accountancy course. And we can now take the questions and answers.
Okay, thank you so much, Amrin ma'am. I think it was a brilliant presentation. Uh, you highlighted a lot of things that I think even us from other fields need to keep in mind, like constant education, and especially in your field, in a field like CA, where we have a government that introduces GST one fine day. I think I think it's very important to stay on top of your game. So yeah, let's take the questions now. Hold on. Okay, so we have Aziz who asked that he's completed his BCom 12 years ago, and can he complete his CA? At present his age is 33, so um, if
Yeah,
he's only completed, yeah.
yeah. So there's no age bar or anything in the CA course, and if he has completed, if he has scored 55% in his BCom when he cleared, he can definitely go and join the CA course. He can directly appear for IPCC. He can enroll in that.
Okay, okay, awesome. Okay, after this we have Hussein Ali who asked if you can elaborate a little more on practical training.
Practical training is we call it as we call it as internship, which is more known, articleship, which is more known word to all of us, wherein you have to go to a CA office, you have to have a principal with you, and you have to take training under him for 3 years. So that option stays with a student to go in which firm or which company for an internship. So in practical training, there are two legs. One, you can take this training under a chartered accountant, or you can also go for an industrial training for 9 months period. So that option always remains open with the student himself. So he's not forced to go to any CA. He has to decide where he want to go for practical training.
Okay. Okay, so we have Isha. She asks if it is advisable to go for both the exam and IPCC. Does it affect your future if you don't go for the both exams together?
No, so it's nothing like that that it affects your future or not. So let me tell you that one thing which every student asks me, what happens is they say that CPT is 10% of CA exam, IPCC is 30%, and remaining 60% is CA final. So I'll give you an example. Foundation is your standard first, intermediate is your standard third, and CA final is your standard eight. So while you are studying in standard eight, you can't compare it to a standard one preparations or books. So it's only something which is there in your mind. So if you are confident that you will be able to appear in both the groups and you will be able to clear it, you should go ahead with it. But if you think that it's not your cup of tea, you can definitely go with single groups. Yes, but what happens is it doesn't affect once you are a chartered accountant. But if you are going for an internship, practical training, many CA firms consider only both group pass students, because what happens is once you are taking up your internship and you are pending with your second group, you will require 3 to 4 months leave to read those subjects and appear for the exam. So they don't want their students to leave their internship for 3 to 4 months in between. So yes, it may affect your internship criteria, but not your future or your upcoming opportunity.
Right, right. Okay. Um, all right. So we have Zian next, who uh, in fact, let's take Aman's question. Currently, he's preparing for inter in November 2021. Is there something he can start doing from now on so that he can get into Big Four for his articleship?
So let me tell you that getting an internship in Big Four is not a big deal. So what they need is exactly first you should be referred by somebody. So what I have understood being in Big Four, that because Big Four is a place wherein the number of articles or interns they are taking is quite low. So let us say if they are getting 200 to 250 applications and the need is two students. So you should not think if you are not selected that you are not capable enough to take that opportunity. That of course depend on the number of applications they are getting. The one thing that the Big Four look into is you should be a first attempt in your CA inter. And let us say if you are joining audit, you have a basic knowledge of audit. So these are certain things they consider. But yes, if you have a connect or a reference in Big Four, that helps you to, take that opportunity on priority.
In fact, that brings us to Saloni Panjwani's question, who says that how do you judge how a firm is good for articleship? How do you, as a person who's just graduating, how do you assess whether a firm would be
Yes. So what happens is, I'll give you my personal experience. When you are going for an internship, you are only 18 or 19 years old, and you don't know that how that CA firm would be. But it depends on the mindset. Let us say many times the students are aware that I want to go in audit, so they look for the good CA firms who are renowned in audit. But let us say if you are not sure that which is the specialization area wherein you want to jump upon, then I think you should consider a mid-sized firm wherein you will be able to learn all the things, right? So whether that firm is good or not, that will depend on your need, that what you want to learn more. So let us say if you want to learn taxation more, you have to go to a mid-size or a big-size firm who is specialized in taxation. If you want to go into IFRS related work, you have to search for those type of firms which are working in IFRS. So these are certain criteria wherein it will depend on your interest area, that what you want to do and where you want to go. So let me tell you currently what happens is, uh, considering the CA firm's need of interns is much higher than the articles which we are getting. So let us say in my firm, if I want to hire an article or an intern, we don't have available interns in the market. So this is the correct time wherein you can pick up the firm of your choice, because every firm is in need of interns right now.
right? Okay. So just a footnote, participants, you can actually raise your hands. Although we do not have time to ask, ask you to unmute your mic individually and sort of answer the question, we will try our best to sort of come to you. If not, you can definitely ask your question in the Q&A, and that will definitely get answered faster. So our next question is from Arman Jilani, who says, after CA, what's better, CFA or CPA?
So as I considered in the PPT, CPA is more important, whereby you want to serve international clients or you want to travel abroad. And CFA, if you're more interested in finance and investment banking, etc., you have opportunities in India as well. So if you don't have any plan to go abroad or you working in India and you are more interested in finance, then you should go with CFA rather than CPA.
Right, right. And we have an anonymous attendee who seems to have a question about CA and the difference between CA and ACCA.
Okay, so ACCA is a course which is not given by Indian institute. It's governed by UK based institutes, and ACCA is generally an accounting based course wherein not much focus is based on tax and audit. And if you are done with your ACCA, you are normally considered as a consultant who is equipped with IFRS and US GAAP related things in accounting. And what happens is, let us say, if you want to work in any DPO or KPO who are working for international clients in their accounting, you can pick that type of jobs. You must have heard about QX Limited. There are many big firms which are doing this type of accounting services. You can join those firms if you have done your ACCA.
Okay, so we have Evrin Nurani who has the question about what should you prefer immediately after CA? Should you practice or should you just get a job?
So what happens is this depends on the confidence that you get from your internship. Many times students get quite a lot of experience in their internship. Let us say if you have done an internship or in any big organization or a big four, you get more confident to start your own practice. But let us say if you have done through a mid-sized firm or a small organization, you should go with a job first, because that gives you because in practice also we discuss on specialization, right? So if you want to start something as a specialized consultant, you should have that base experience with you. So I would advise that if you have done internship with a mid-size or a small firm, you should first get an experience of corporate or any big firm, and then you should start with your practice.
Right, right. Okay, so we have Amina Virani who's raised her hand. Maybe we can ask her.
Yes.
Amina?
Yeah, I'd like to know whether if you have, I've done half my inter CF. I dropped out, got married, and I had to leave my studies. I'm more interested in doing, mutual funds or and share trading and portfolio management. So, can you let me know what course should I pursue?
So let me tell you one thing. There are many courses in the market. So there are post graduation courses and certification courses on this mutual funds, etc. If you're more interested in investment, etc., in that case, you must have heard about NSE, right? National Stock Exchange.
Yes.
They on their own are providing certain courses wherein you will be able to. So I consider these government agencies who are providing the courses as more competent to start with. So that will be considered as a very good base for you to start in for mutual funds, because you are not done with your CS, right? So and you
Yes,
also have
yes,
a
I was
gap in
doing my
between.
CA, but
Yeah.
my age is 50. So considering that also, I would want you to advise me on that also.
Yeah, so you can consider NSC related exams, wherein if you are passing the exam and you are taking up the course, you will directly be able to do this mutual fund and investment, as well as you will be able to get the current knowledge of this stock exchange and fundings.
I have seen these courses, what you have said, that NSC courses, they have a lot of courses. So how do you decide among that what you should really do it? Because they don't, they just have their names, and then I think more than 70 courses they have.
So here, what happens is, as I told you, that you should have a a thing which is in your mind that what you want to go ahead. Then if I am at your place, what I can do is I can see the study materials and I can justify and identify that what is my area of practice be after this study course, and then you can pick out of that. What we can do is,
No, they
if you
give you
have,
the study
yeah.
material only after register.
No, so but they have certain, you can consider not the entire study material, but they have certain things that what will be covered in the course or not. So we can, so what you can do is, if you have any doubt in that, we can help you in choosing out those courses once you have, read about basics on those courses. Because
Where can
upfront,
I
I'll not
expect
be
to
able.
hear from if I have to consult you? Is it possible?
Yes, so I'll share my contact details. You can consider, you can take my mobile number and you can connect to me. I'll discuss with you this in person in detail.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so next we have, in fact, we have Meet Kadia again. So, Meet, you're muted.
Hello, hello,
Yes, we
hello,
can hear you.
hello.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
yes,
hear you.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. आई एम अ डायरेक्ट एंट्री स्टूडेंट। ओके, मैंने अभी अपना ग्रेजुएशन कंप्लीट किया है बीकॉम से, और मैं डायरेक्ट एंट्री स्टूडेंट हूँ। तो मुझे ये बताइए कि किस तरह स्टडी करना चाहिए, क्योंकि क्या होता है कि डायरेक्ट एंट्री स्टूडेंट जो होते हैं उसको आर्टिकलशिप और जो स्टडी वो दोनों ही मेंटेन करना होता है। इससे फाइनल भी सबको ऐसा होता है, लेकिन मेरे साथ क्या है कि मैं गुजराती मीडियम से हूँ, तो मुझे इंग्लिश मीडियम का भी थोड़ा कम नॉलेज है। तो आप बता सकते हैं कि किस तरह से मुझे स्टडी करना चाहिए, जैसे सीए में आगे मैं बढ़ सकूँ और अपना करियर बेस्ट बना सकूँ।
आपने कोई क्लासेस ज्वाइन की है क्या?
मैंने 12th के बाद स्पोकन इंग्लिश क्लास ज्वाइन किए थे, उसके बाद कोई क्लास
नहीं,
ज्वाइन नहीं
इन
की मैंने।
फॉर इंटरमीडिएट आपने कोई क्लास ज्वाइन की है क्या?
यस मैम, मैंने सूरत से ज्वाइन किए।
ओके, ओके,
सी
सो
सी रवि शाह से। ओके।
ओके, सो इसमें क्या होता है मीत, इट्स नॉट दैट डिफिकल्ट। अगर आप, मैं जस्ट टू गिव अ बैकग्राउंड, 12th स्टैंडर्ड तक मैं भी गुजराती मीडियम में ही थी। ओके, सो आई स्टडीड एंटायर माय स्कूलिंग थ्रू गुजराती मीडियम, सो दैट इज, उसको ऐसा मत समझो दैट बिकॉज यू आर फ्रॉम गुजराती मीडियम यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू अटेंड दिस और कंसीडर दिस, सो दैट हैव नो रेलेवेंस। आप जो पढ़ने वाले हो आगे उसके साथ, यू जस्ट हैव दैट कॉन्फिडेंस कि आप पढ़ोगे, आपको याद रहेगा, यू विल बी एबल टू राइट इट इन द एग्जाम। द सेकेंड थिंग विच आई विल टेल यू इज कि आप है ना सब्जेक्ट्स में आपका रेंडमली रैंकिंग दो कि भाई ये आपको सबसे ज्यादा पसंद है, ये कम पसंद है, 1 to 8, if you have 8 subject, if you have 9 subject, 1 to 9। उसके बाद सो लेट अस से जो फर्स्ट नंबर जो आपको सबसे इजी लगता है, कंसीडर रीडिंग दैट विथ द 10th और 9th नंबर की जो आपको सबसे बोरिंग या नहीं अच्छा लगता है, राइट? सो यू कंसीडर अ मिक्सअप ऑफ रीडिंग। अगर आप एक ही सब्जेक्ट फोकस करोगे यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू कंप्लीट रीडिंग एनी टाइम, मतलब वो आपको डाउट रहेगा ही। सो आई विल एडवाइज यू टू प्रिपेयर अ शेड्यूल टू रीड इट। इंटर्नशिप के साथ थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट लगता है, बट अगर आप उसको रेगुलर रीडिंग हैबिट में रखोगे इट विल बी वेरी इजी फॉर यू। और ऐसा ऐसा सोचो ही मत बिकॉज यू आर फ्रॉम गुजराती मीडियम और यू आर फ्रॉम डायरेक्ट एंट्री, कैसे करूँ? यू प्रिपेयर योर ओन शेड्यूल, यू वर्क ऑन दैट, यू वर्क ऑन योर इंग्लिश थोड़ा, यू स्टार्ट अदर रीडिंग्स, यू स्टार्ट रीडिंग इंग्लिश न्यूज़पेपर, दैट विल हेल्प यू। सो ये आपका जो अभी कंसर्न है ना उसको कॉन्फिडेंस में चेंज करो। आप शेड्यूल बनाओगे, एक बार चेंज होगा, नेक्स्ट मंथ चेंज होगा, बट कीप इट विथ यू। उसको ज्यादा से ज्यादा फोकस करके अगर आप करोगे, आई गेस इट्स डूएबल, आप कर पाओगे। और लेट मी टेल यू वन थिंग टू ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स, आप कौन से
ओके
क्लासेस
मैम।
में जाते हो उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। इट हैज नो रेलेवेंस with what you are doing, it has no relevance at all। आप सेल्फ स्टडी में क्या करते हो दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, आप कौन से क्लासेस में जाते हो उससे ज्यादा।
थैंक यू वेरी मच मैम।
Okay, thank you, Meet. So we have time for a few more questions, in fact. So we'll take Arman Jilani on board. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, Arman.
Yalimat Baima.
मलाली मदद।
Baima, actually, I wanted to ask that for articleship, which city is like best for exposure?
So where are you based currently?
I am in Nasik right now, but I'm planning to take articleship in Mumbai.
So Mumbai is considered as a good city. You can consider Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, even Ahmedabad for some reasons are very good. It has many big firms wherein you can appear for internship. बट व्हाट माय एडवाइस वुड बी कि अगर नासिक में या तो नियर बाय में आपको कोई अच्छी अगर प्लेस मिलती है टू डू इंटर्नशिप, यू शुड नॉट चेंज योर प्लेस। बिकॉज अगर आप मुंबई में जाते हो, अगर आप वहाँ पे पीजी में या हॉस्टल में रहते हो, द ट्रैवलिंग that managing all things on your own, that will take your more time. तो फिर वो पढ़ाई में उतना टाइम कम मिलेगा आपको. So I will consider कि you consider a place कि जहाँ पे आपको अच्छा सा कोई फॉर्म भी मिलता है and you are able to manage your timings etc. So there is nothing like कि कौन सा सिटी अच्छा है, वैसा नहीं होता है. You should focus on the firm, आपको कौन सी फर्म या तो कैसी फर्म में जाना है. We have many good firms in Hyderabad as well. तो you should consider all these things कि अगर आप जैसे मुंबई में जाते हो तो आपका स्टे कैसा रहेगा, आपका ट्रैवल टाइम कैसा रहेगा एक्सेट्रा.
Okay. Uh, Thank you so much, Arman. I'm sorry, can you hear me? Okay. All right, Rifat. Uh, Rifat?
Hello, hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yalimadat Baima.
Alarima sir.
Baima, I have already appeared for CA final in the November 2020 examination, and I want to know what if I want to specialize in direct tax as well as in indirect taxation, which course should I pursue?
So let me tell you that both are very different areas, and there are no course which will offer you specialization in both together. If you want
Okay.
to do, there are specialization courses in indirect taxation and direct taxation separately. Also,
Right.
I would advise you to, while you are going through these courses or details on the courses, you should go in detail in direct and indirect taxation. So let me tell you, if you are considering indirect taxation, there are consultants who are working on foreign trade policies, GSTs, customs, which all are different specializations. So let us say if I'm specialized in customs, I may not be handling GST. If you consider direct taxation, there are consultants, or if you want to specialize, there are different areas like mergers and acquisition, corporate taxation, individual taxation, trust taxations. So as you are starting only, I will not force you to pick anyone, but direct tax and indirect tax both will not go together in any course. You will be required to go with two specialization courses then.
Right. Ma'am, can you name those courses?
So if you have already appeared and if you are passing your CA exam, institute offers these certification courses,
Okay.
certification and post graduation. So I have skipped that slide. I will just take you. So these are the certification courses which institute provide, right?
Right.
And these are the post qualification courses which institute provide. So international laws and World Trade Organization, these are covered in indirect taxation. So you can consider these type of courses which are already given by institute only. So you need not go to any other, you know,
Right.
classes or anything.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. So we're back to the Q&A questions. We'll just take a few of them since. All right. So we have Muskan who asked if she's interested in the area of audit but doesn't know its specialization in the area, like internal audit or statutory audit. Um, can you please elaborate on the areas?
Yes. So what happens is, if you know the basics, statutory audit is conducted under the statutes, which are done for the shareholders and the investors. Where the internal audit is based on the basis of management. Management considers to do the internal audit. So statutory audit is more based on the statute for which you are doing audit. Let us say if you are doing a tax audit, that is considered as a statutory audit because it is covered by a law. And internal audit is a very wide area wherein the management will tell you to do, like you do audit of books of accounts, you do forensic audit, you do due diligence. All these things are covered under internal audit. So scope of both the auditors are different. You are doing work for a different class of person in both the audits.
Right. All right. So okay, so I think it is already 9:45, so that's I think all the time we have for today. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I think it was a brilliant webinar. Thank you so much, Amreen ma'am. It was a very insightful webinar, and I think uh, we've answered at least most of the questions that came in. To those people whose questions haven't been answered, as you can see, you have Amin ma'am's contact details as well on the screen, as well as you can contact us at career.esc@djtrust.org, or you can join the Career Spark group. Sohail so has kindly shared the link of the Telegram group that you can join for any updates on the webinars. Once again, thank you so much to all the AKEB members as well as Amreen ma'am for joining us today. It was a brilliant day, and we hope to see you again very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yali Bazar.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chef.